Hello, this is Deborah with Redirecting, and I have another very interesting story about race swapping to share with you. Apparently, there is a white guy who identifies as a born-again African. Where do they come up with this stuff? Well, anyway, he's using his new racial identity to win grants that were meant for artists of color. So, again, it's a white guy who identifies as a born-again African. I find that very laughable. And before I get into the article that accompanies this, if a so-called black person tried to identify as a white person to get any type of perks or any type of grants or monies or anything, I could see them charging them with fraud. If it was a black person trying to identify as a white person to gain access to some type of funds or grants or anything, they'll just say, boom, fraud. But here we have a white guy, and we're starting to see more and more stories where white people want to identify as black people. And see, that is the problem with this whole blurring of the lines with race in this country, where they're saying that they identify mixed race people as black. I've always saw a problem with that because I'm like, they're half and half. How can you identify them as black when they have one white parent, whether it's a mother or father, and one black parent that may be a mother or father? But they default to black. And so now you have mixed people who can pass. You have some that can pass for white or some that can pass for black. And they bounce between the two races at their convenience. Now, in the case of this guy, he is white. So let me go ahead and read the article. It says, Anthony Lennon is the latest white person to identify as black, lying about his heritage to win a grant intended for artists of color. Now, one thing I do want to say is this, too. If you have a grant that's used or is supposed to be used for artists of color or anyone of color, I still don't think it's fair to grant those to mixed race people, because it goes back to that whole thing of the one drop rule, where many times you will have people that are mixed or lighter who will get things over those who really truly are so-called black people. We've seen that happen in Australia, even when they were giving out reparations to some of the Australian people. Everyone in the audience that we saw that were there to get some type of reparations for the atrocities that happened to them, they were so many generations removed from black Australians that they literally looked like an audience full of white people. Literally. This is a documentary we saw years ago, but that's what happens when a seed is whited out, okay? And then you have some type of reparations or grants or loans or whatever that are up for grabs, and the black, dark, melanated people don't get them, but the mixed people do. So that's why I still don't think it's fair for them to slate mixed race people as black and in turn give things that are slated for blacks to mixed people. Okay, back to the article. It says The Independent reports Lennon knows he is genetically white, saying in 1990, my parents are white, and so are their parents, and so are their parents, and so are their parents. However, he also identifies as a born-again African, because everyone on the planet is African. It's your choice as to whether you accept it. And so, again, they are using that whole everyone comes out of Africa thing. When it suits them, they want to use that. But for those that don't want to be connected or identify as us, then no, they want to try to prove that they're not out of Africa, because then that means accepting that they come from black. But in this case, he's like, okay, I'll accept it. I'm just a born again African because I need access to these funds that are slated for melanated people. So you see how the game is played. Okay, Lennon also claims to have gone through the struggle of a black man because of his hair texture and his high cheekbones. Give me a break. Give me a break. Your high cheekbones, we can see your image, okay? And I doubt very serious if you did go through a struggle, if it was anything remotely near what the average Wesley Snipes looking black man has gone through. Okay. The theater director applied for the Arts Council England grant, a paid 2-year fellowship for artists of color worth more than $500,000. Lennon registered as a person of mixed heritage, going on to win the grant. See what I mean? This just proved what I said before I even got to this part of the article, that many times when there is a grant or some type of loan or some type of reparations that's supposed to be for black people, they will justify giving it to a mixed person because in their heart they really don't want to give it to someone black. So they say, well, I know he looks white, but he's mixed, so technically he's black, according to their one-drop rule. And so therefore they will give it to a mixed person, even over a black person, even though it was supposedly slated for an artist of color. So you see how this game is played, family? This game is played so eloquently, many of us don't even realize we're being discriminated against because we'll look at him and say, well, he is black because he's mixed. We think because you have one black parent, we've been taught that and trained to believe that, and so we accept that. And so you don't even know what hits you when a so-called mixed person comes in and gets the grant over you because you helped to endorse it, because you accept it. Okay, let me finish the rest of this article. It says stage actor Luke Elliott was reportedly fuming that Lennon was taking up the little resources awarded to black thespians. The Arts Council England, however, is sticking by its decision, partially because a black-led theater Lennon works for, Talawa, backed him. You hear that? So even when they were called out on it, they said, no, we're sticking for it. We're sticking to our decision because a black-led theater Lennon works for backed him. So you have black people supporting him. And so they're like, nope, we're not going to change our ruling. We're going to stick to our decision because even black people support him. So we always support things to our own detriment. So you have another black person who's complained. He's fuming about this. He's upset about it. But they use the fact that other blacks support him to stick with their decision. So this other black person can just forget it. Because other black people are supporting this white guy who really is white, but claims to be mixed. Because we are okay with mixed race people taking on the resources of black people. So let me go ahead and finish this article. It says, as an artist of mixed heritage, he is he's not only eligible for the position, but his experience, work, and achievements make him an exceptional person for the role. Okay, so they say as a mixed race person, he's not only eligible, but his experience, work, and achievements make him an exceptional person for the role. So basically what they're saying, okay, that's what the organization said in the statement. Basically what they're saying is mixed race is better than black. It goes back to that whole thing, and many of us want to call it colorism. This has nothing to do with colorism. This has something to do with us biting our own heads off by supporting something such as this that goes against us. It's sad and unfortunate that we don't understand how we hurt our own selves by having this black-led theater support this guy who identifies as mixed race, but he's white. And now you've just shot off the foot of another black guy. Okay, it says Talawa raised their wish to support Anthony with us. In responding, we took into account the law in relation to race and ethnicity. This is a very unusual case, and we do not think it undermines the support we provide to black and minority ethnic people within the theater sector. So they're sticking to their guns. They're like, deal with it. Who cares? Shut up complaining about it. All of that. And so there it goes again in our faces that even so-called mixed people are viewed as better or higher than us. And even if it means that many of us have to be kicked to the sideline, so be it. And I'm looking in the comments under this article, and I'm looking at black people because we have bought into this whole thing of mixed people or mixed race people being black too. Here's the first person. They say, he looks black to me. Then another person says, yeah, he looks black to me too. You know, that's us. I'm looking at black people say, he looks black to me. Now, you all can see on the screen very clearly that the man looks mixed. Now, he himself says that all of his ancestry is white. His parents, both his parents, his grandparents, his great-grandparents, his great-great-grandparents, his great-great-grandparents before them. But in our minds, because of what we've been taught, we say he looks black. It amazes me how we have fallen for the okie doke time and time again. Okay. And then here's another black person says, me too. If he has the talent, then I say go for it, brother. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. I'm looking at all of these so-called black people who are saying, he looks black to me. And therefore they are saying, real black guy, you can forget it. You can forget it. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and end up this article now. Again, we just have no type of understanding of how this world works. We've accepted everything that's been dished out to us. And we can't figure out why we as a people continue to get trampled on, because we're like sticking our necks out, sticking our heads out, sticking our whole body out, laying on the ground saying, hey, trample all over me. I don't care as long as this guy gets this grant. Okay, family, I'm out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.